to Taste Buds, a show celebrating food and dining and the people who make what we love to eat and drink. I'm Jen Pachano. We've got Dave Kokab with us again. And today we are sharing a recipe for a great weeknight meal or maybe a quick dish to serve company. We have a holiday dish demo from Chef Dave. And we are getting the very latest on the transformation of the West Side Market. So why don't we start there with the market? We're going to bring in our guest here, Rosemary Moudry, Executive Director of the Cleveland Public Market Corporation. You're the one really executing some of these big changes that we're seeing here at the market. So where do we even begin in terms of the undertaking that this has been?
So we, as the nonprofit, took over management about a year and a half ago and started fundraising to implement a master plan that includes physical changes, dealing with infrastructure, bringing things into the 21st century, and then really thinking about ways that enhance customers, customer experience, using underutilized spaces, transforming them into new spaces that can be used for customers, like adding seating to the market, bringing more prepared foods to the market, some event-based spaces to gather at the market. People want to do things at the market, and it's really hard to do anything but just shop right now.
Right. Right, and I know that was something that vendors were concerned about. Like, this is a marketplace, but people were treating it as a tourist destination. Right. Did you kind of lean into that a little bit as you tried to reshape it? So, for us, I think it's about leaning into all of the things that the market can be. Successful public markets across the country realize the critical importance of tourism and visitors to their market, right? Those tourists, those things, they bring extra dollars, they bring energy, they keep the foot traffic up, they allow us to have more prepared foods, make it busy. But the West Side Market is really lucky that, unlike some other public markets, we have been able to preserve a lot of the fresh and prepared foods. So we still have multiple butchers. We still have multiple produce vendors who are selling fruits and vegetables. We still have a lot of those fresh products that some other markets have less of. And so I think what that's meant is that the market has remained Cleveland's grocery store as well. And so really the project is about how do we preserve the most loved traditions of the market, but also ensure that the market has a really strong and bright future for the 21st century and allows us to compete. We can't do things how we used to do them in 1950. People shop differently. People have different habits. And so we really need to lean into creating the experience, not just for tourists, but for regular shoppers too. Regular shoppers will spend more money if they have a place to sit and drink their coffee before they grab their steak, you know? Yeah, no, that's true. Dave, you have friends that are vendors and people that, what did they want to see happen in terms of like the infrastructure, what were the priorities for them as far as you heard?
I mean, infrastructure usually is a go-to thing, just having like equipment that works consistently, et cetera. But really, overall, they are businesses. So they do want to be supported as businesses, have more people be able to use it as a grocery store. So I think a lot of things that deter it are, you know, that people don't have a place to gather. They don't have another place to go when they're enjoying their coffee. So then there can be like, I don't know, like traffic jams and stuff. And you know, we shouldn't want to get rid of the window shoppers. They're there for the experience. It's an essential part of Cleveland, the West Side Market is. But if those people, while they're maybe 3 strollers deep and have their umbrellas and things, they have a place to go and hang out and rehash if they haven't seen each other and all this, and they can leave space for people that could come in, shop at Kate's or you know, the home pantry or wherever. So
how much have you been working with the vendors directly in terms of meeting their needs or requests or the direction they want to see the market go?
So the master plan was developed in conjunction with them. There was a lot of time and effort put into working with them on their needs and things like that. But, you know, I think the other thing is sometimes change is hard, even if it's good for us. And so I think there's this delicate balance of making sure we're always really listening to what merchants want and being able to provide a space where they can do great business, where the aisle isn't clogged with people who aren't shopping, but also remind them that like people who are there might start out as a window shopper and they can be converted into a market shopper. I mean, maybe if you're in California, you're not buying a steak, but a lot of our shoppers, probably 70% of them, live within a distance that they could take almost any product from the market home. And so I think some of our work is, with our marketing team and with merchants, is also thinking about what are the ways when people are here that you're helping them feel more comfortable shopping the market. And so we've done some different things like a chef demo series and things that, maybe can convert you from a window shopper into something else.
Sure.
And then I think part of the transformation project is we're going to be building a teaching kitchen. So to me, this is a really great opportunity for merchants who see, who kind of see the future, to say, okay, how do I get more people to shop here? Well, the way I can get people to buy my product is maybe I partner with CPMC, the nonprofit, and a chef, and I teach people how to cook a fish or a piece of meat, or
how to shuck
I'm a
an oyster,
vegetarian.
how to,
exactly,
that kind of
all
stuff,
those kinds of things, or even produce merchants. I think there's a lot of really unique products at the market, and so it's teaching people, like, here's 30 types of mushrooms. I usually only cook cremini mushrooms. That's what I know how to cook.
Right.
And there's all these other crazy types of mushrooms if I had a class that taught me. So I think there's a lot of ways that we really want to lean into,
It's programming.
Yes,
it's not
programming
just,
and things like that.
It's not just making sure the stalls are, the leases get renewed and the stalls get filled. There's been a distinctive effort, at least from my perspective, of programming to supplement, to complement those vendors. Final question here, where are you with funding in terms of the support that is necessary to execute this transformation to this icon?
So where we're at with funding right now is we closed on the first stage of financing in April, which was about 52 of the $70 million project. That $52 million, we prioritized things like renovating one of the produce arcades, which is going to reopen in January after renovation. Our produce merchants will move in there. They will have heat. They will have air conditioning. They will have refrigerated cases. So a lot of the modern amenities that are essential to them providing the kind of produce that people want and need. And then the other kinds of infrastructure are like the electrical, plumbing. It includes the basement overhaul, which is probably like the biggest thing for the merchants, is redoing all of the coolers where people are doing their butchering, they're storing all of their product, really bringing those into the 21st century. I think our merchants now are accustomed to working with how the basement is right now, but we also want to be able to attract new merchants in the future. And I think having a space in the basement that's really competitive to that will be important. The last 18, we're in the middle of fundraising right now. We are excited and anticipating, hearing back on, somewhere between $5 and $8 million in the next few weeks here.
Awesome.
So we'll be having hopefully a very happy end of the year. But then, we've really still got, depending on how those come back, we'll still have, probably 14-ish million to go. But we've also opened the campaign up to the public. And so I think the market is really, the tagline is Cleveland, like the people's market. And so our hope is that the community is going to show that they do care about the market, that they recognize the importance, that they recognize that merchants have been working here for 113 years. And if this is something we care about, we all have to invest in its future. And so we're excited to be on that stage and being able to really welcome the community into supporting the market as well.
Oh, Rosemary, thank you so much. You're a great champion for the market.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we're just getting started here. Coming up after the break, I just might have a new favorite cookbook right here, and it was written by somebody from Brecksville. We'll talk with the woman behind Tasting with Tina and her new cookbook, Tasting Every Day, when Taste Buds returns. Welcome back to Taste Buds, and we are getting ready to celebrate the holidays. Usually, this time of year on the show, we bring you some new cookbooks that are out that maybe you can gift or put on your wish list. And there's a Northeast Ohio native who has a new cookbook out. We're bringing her in here now. Christina Musgrave, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So tell me, what is your food background and what's your cookbook?
So it's kind of a long journey to where I got to now, but the short version is that I worked in corporate America, really did not like it, had a quarter life crisis, started a food blog, and then a couple years later quit my full-time job. And now I do this for a living and just came out with my first cookbook.
And the new cookbook, tell me about that. What is it called and what does it have in it?
So my new book is called Tasting Every Day. I have a hardcover and paperback version available.
Nice.
It's a cookbook for weeknight dinners. And
Oh,
so
thank goodness.
the biggest question that I get asked is how do you get dinner on a table on a Tuesday night
Yeah.
between the school activities, shuffling kids places? It's hard to get a family meal on the table that everyone will enjoy.
Yeah.
And this cookbook was my answer to that question.
I
So
love
there's
that.
50 recipes. They're designed to be made on a weeknight, on a Tuesday night with your family. You can have a delicious meal. It's easy, but everything looks very delicious and is, elegant enough to make for entertaining too.
That's great. All right, so you're going to make us something from that cookbook, aren't you, today?
Yes, I am. I'm going to make my pesto rosso.
Mhm.
So I'm going to start off by cooking the pasta. So I have some
Okay.
water going now. And I like making this with rigatoni. I'm using flour.
Flour.
This is a local company.
Yes.
One's really, really great.
That's one tip for a weeknight meal right there is fresh pasta cooks faster.
Definitely, definitely. And it gives you that taste like you worked all day on it, but
Mhm.
you did, which is great.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, so I'm gonna make the pesto rosso. So
Mhm.
this is a red pesto. A lot of people have never heard of this. So this is a great recipe to make on a weeknight, or you can make it for entertaining. It's a really great dish to make too. So instead of basil, like you'd make it a green pesto, we're gonna do sun-dried tomatoes.
Mhm.
So you are gonna add to a food processor sun-dried tomatoes. The nuts in this are almonds.
Mhm. I love that. That's that makes it a more affordable than a pine nut pesto
Yes,
too. Mhm.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
the best thing about this recipe is you probably have most of the ingredients already in your fridge and pantry. So you
Mhm.
can just up.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna add some garlic, salt, pepper, and I like to add a little bit of red pepper flake just for a little bit of heat, not
Mhm.
too much.
Mhm.
And then balsamic. So my recipe calls for dark balsamic. I have white on hand. You can really use any balsamic.
Yeah.
You're just gonna use about a teaspoon of it. And then olive oil and Parmigiano Reggiano cheese,
Mhm.
a half cup.
By using the sun-dried tomatoes, that's kind of cheating the time. So the cook process has already gone through instead of putting a pot on and making a pot of red sauce on a weeknight.
Exactly.
You've skipped you've gone through the express lane, so to speak.
Exactly. And it has so much flavor
Mhm.
with the ingredients that you already have,
Yeah.
which is why I love it. And every time I make this for a group, they are so impressed and it's gone in just a couple of minutes. And it really only took me a few
It's your
minutes to make.
secret that it's easy, right?
I'm happy to share it with you. So I have all this in a food processor. And then after like a minute or so, I just like to kind of check on the texture. So this is going to be a little more of a textured sauce than a normal pesto. One of my favorite tips is using a spider strainer to strain your pasta out of the water directly into a bowl.
Mhm.
That's going to take a little bit of that residual pasta water with
Uh-huh.
the pasta. It's going to cling on and go to the bowl that you're serving in. So when you combine it with the sauce, you kind of already done that naturally.
Mhm.
And I find that gives you like the perfect amount of pasta water. While that pasta is finishing up, grab a spoon and get this in the bowl. And what you can do is take your pesto and take it directly from the food processor to your serving bowl.
Mhm.
All right, so I have the pasta in the bowl and I'm just gonna mix all of this together.
Pouring the hot pasta on top of the pesto kind of brings it up to temperature too, which will help,
Yeah,
That's all you need, really.
This is so great for a weeknight because it's really a no-cook sauce. I will give you a close-up so you can see how this looks. I wish you were in my kitchen so
Oh,
you could
yes.
smell this and see it. But you
Amazing.
can see how in the ridges of the rigatoni really
Yeah.
clings to this so nicely. But this is a really great dish to make for your family on a weeknight or make it for entertaining.
That's true. When you've got a house full of people and you're like, how am I going to feed all these people quickly?
Yes.
That's a good suggestion. I love that. I'm going to use that. What else in your book are some highlights that are some of your favorites? Like,
A couple of standout favorites from the book. So one is a sausage bruschetta recipe that when on one of my family's trips to Italy, we had at a winery and we were just blown away. I've never had sausage bruschetta before.
Yeah.
We had never heard of it. It's fantastic. It's just a couple of ingredients, and that one is really fun to make on a weeknight or for entertaining. That's
Okay.
one of my favorites. Another one of my favorite recipes is a simplified version of a steak Diane. And then another one that I love are my Greek meatball bowls. So I have a whole section in my cookbook just dedicated to bowls.
tell everybody how they can get it, where they can get it, and how they can support your efforts of a fellow Northeast Ohioan.
Thank you. You can find my book on Amazon. Just search Tasting Every Day or search my name, Christina Musgrave. You can also order it directly from me on my website at tastingwithtina.com. It will be right at the top of my website. You can follow along on Instagram. I have an email list where I send 5 recipes out every week to give you some dinner inspiration. And my website has over 450 recipes. So if you're ever looking to cook something new, I have a ton of recipes for you to try.
All right, Dave, what do you think? She did her demo. You ready to show her up?
I don't know if I can do that. Hey, one move I really like that I don't know if a lot of people do is she had the pesto, the sauce in the bowl, and then transferred the pasta to the bowl and mixed it there.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people like to add the sauce to the pasta in a pot, and it just kind of, you're removing it from the heat. It's more controllable.
You also
It'll stay
lose some of the
warm.
product, I think, in the bowl, right? Or
Yeah,
in the pot,
or in
excuse
the pot,
me.
right.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
like that move.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can show that up.
She's a pro. All right, so we're talking about the holidays. There's a
Yeah.
lot of people that are serving people, serving guests. You're
Yes.
busy in all kinds of different ways. What have you got for us today that's going to help people
I
out?
was doom scrolling like we all do. And
Okay.
I saw famous chef John George. He said he makes mashed potatoes in 10 minutes.
And you're like, tell me how.
Dad, yeah. How do
Okay.
you make mashed potatoes in 10 minutes? So I did this. Spoiler alert, it takes a little bit longer than 10 minutes. So
Okay.
probably 20 minutes, and mashed potatoes in 20 minutes.
It's pretty good.
Let's say you're making a side for the holidays. It's ruined. I use salt instead of sugar. or
Oh,
sugar instead of salt. I need something. Well, almost everybody has an Instapot.
These days,
I
something
think,
like that, yeah.
I think, or something like the
Yeah.
Foodie, Ninja Foodie or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't think they ever really use the pressure cooker. And that's what John George was
Yes.
using, was the pressure cooker.
Don't be scared of it.
No. So it does cook for a short amount of time, but it needs to warm up too. But
Okay.
I wanted to try this. I have this. I use this for meats all the time. To do
Okay.
a quick braise or
Yeah.
something. But I never thought to cut the time out with something like a potato.
Yeah.
People talk about beans from dryer all the time too. So
Yeah.
mashed potatoes around the holidays. That's pretty.
You better
pretty
have
much
those on a big
softball.
bowl.
You better
Yeah.
have 'em,
The
right?
softball, that's
Yeah,
right.
that's just lobbing it up there. You
That's
gotta have
right.
mashed
That's right. So
potatoes.
what did you do? So you cooked them, you quartered them?
So I cut them into fairly consistent size. So I left the skin on because I have a food mill.
Okay.
If you just have a ricer, you'll probably need to peel these ahead of time.
Uh-huh.
But I just want to, it doesn't really matter that they're small. I just want to cut it in a fairly consistent size. Normally I would use a russet potato, but John George used Yukon Gold.
Oh, okay.
And these are similar to Yukon Gold. It's a white potato, but it is a waxy potato and not a starchy potato.
Okay.
So I was like, why not go with that? So as long as I just cut this in quarters.
Okay.
That way it's fairly consistent because you just want it to cook consistent. It doesn't need a lot of knife work at this part.
Yeah.
And then I put them into the pressure cooker with a quart and a half of water.
All right.
They're gonna you set the cook for 6 minutes. Here's where the extra time comes in. It needs to warm up.
Right.
So
Okay.
I would actually add a quart and a half of hot water.
Oh, then you can
and a pinch of salt. It'll cut
skirt that a little
time
bit.
off
Nice.
little
Good.
bit.
Good idea.
But the total time is only 6 minutes in here. I set it for 6
Wow.
minutes. And you're gonna see how tender they are. Now, when these are done, I know it's kind of scary. It has the vent. I cooked these ahead of time. I did not want to vent in the
In the studio. Thank you for that.
We
thank you.
rafters. No, we're not, dude. No,
Thank
we're
you.
not doing that here.
Uh-huh.
I already vented this out. They're already cooked. But it was pretty quick, like 6 minutes to cook, 5 minutes to warm up. That's just 11 minutes right there. And as long as in that meantime, we're warming up our cream and butter, maybe in the microwave, maybe on the stovetop, either way, this can come together very quickly.
Okay.
So let's see how quickly.
Let's see how
As
quickly.
they're in here, I'm gonna open it up. There's a little pressure in there.
Okay.
These are in there all cooked. Let me set this down. And I have my food mill. I'm just gonna start putting some potatoes in the food mill.
All right, so
I recommend a food mill.
do you?
I like a chunky sauce. I like something like rustic Italian all through a food mill. I like a
Like a what do you call it? A romesco? You could do.
oh
with that?
sure, a romesco. Just I like things with some body,
Texture
some
to them.
character. Yes, I'm
Okay.
not.
That's
I don't
why
need
you kept the
everything to
skins
be
on.
Smooth. Yeah, and I kept this. Well, the skins won't come through.
me hold
I
it
like
for
a food mill because I guess I'm
Got it?
a little lazy in the long run.
Here, I'll help
And
you.
I want this tool to take the skins off as opposed to me. These are smaller potatoes. I'm not trying to test my knuckles over
Right.
here. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
With a smaller potato.
I gotcha.
You can, but I should have set the clock to see how fast this come together, but I did not. But technically, we already had 11 minutes.
See, because there's
down,
some people that
couple
use a
minutes
ricer.
in.
I use just a
Yeah.
potato masher. Like I don't.
Potato masher
I
is
don't go
great.
super like smooth. I
Yeah.
like a little. I don't know.
And
then
I
if you
think
cook
a
the
russet
potatoes
for
enough-
something like that
Yeah.
is a better move than maybe a Yukon Gold, because really these Yukon Gold potatoes are a starchy or a waxy potato as opposed to a starchy one. You don't want to move them. That's when they get gluey. You
Okay.
wanna mix them minimally. So that's why I like this, because we're not mixing it. We're
Okay.
getting a good
Oh, look at that.
amount
Here.
there.
You see that? There we go. Thank you for that.
And I probably only got through half, but
Okay. That's all we need, right?
that's all we need.
Okay.
We're just, this is for example. We could do this in a lot larger batches. This is the larger of the pressure cookers.
Okay.
So then since it's already, you can see that it's
Yeah,
in
nice
the
and soft.
bowl, it's nice and soft, it's still warm. It's we're not gonna have to overmix this.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna add, I had 5 of these potatoes.
Okay.
Maybe 6 depending on size. We cook it in here. So to that, 1 stick of butter, so a quarter box, 3/4 cup of heavy cream. Definitely want to heat these up beforehand to avoid overmixing.
Ah,
Cool
okay,
it
good
down
point.
so they say it doesn't get gummy. I don't like a gummy potato. Since I don't have it all, no. Since I don't have it all in here, I'm gonna slowly add,
Okay.
because I don't have the exact proportion down.
Yep. Do you need more potato?
Maybe a little more potato.
Here, I'll
maybe
put your thing. Hold
maybe
on.
add, no.
You
actually,
good? You got it?
This is not.
All right. Oh, you're right.
I
Look
like
at
how
that.
This is
It
coming
absor-
together.
Okay.
And I'm using the side of the bowls, very similar
Yeah.
to that last segment. We're mixing in a bowl, something round, not straight edges like
Yeah.
this, so we can kind of use this bowl. Oh, look at that. It's all coming together. The butter's
Look, he
in
did it.
there.
Love that.
And then we just want to hit it with some salt. So I did
Okay.
put a little bit of salt in the pre-cook, but not a lot.
Sure.
I want
Potatoes take a lot of salt.
a lot of salt. I think some people that are maybe want to be a touch more health conscious, they have a tough time with mashed potatoes because they see how much cream and butter goes into a mashed potato,
All right. Yep. All right. We got just a few moments here. Look at that.
But I kind of
Yeah,
like
pull-
them a little.
There you go.
I could add more potato to this if you like a tighter potato.
Yeah, exactly. It just
Just a
depends on.
little bit more
That's a
French
family
style.
preference. That's
It's
a family preference. That's right.
exactly. So if I wanted to go back and put a little bit more potato in here, make it tighter so it can absorb more of these sauces, juices on the
Yeah.
plate you have going on, that's fine.
Good to
I
go.
like it good to go. And it's almost like half fat, half potato when we get down
Ooh,
to it.
all right,
That's
now
the
we've
kinda
got the
classic
ratio.
French way.
That's the French way
I don't
indeed.
go all the way there, but that's a classic French way.
Love it.
I got delicious mashed potatoes, and I'm saying you could do that in 20 minutes.
Yeah,
maybe
for sure.
30 minutes, but
I love
That's
that. I like a little
time-conscious
shortcut.
people like
And you're
this,
not using the stovetop, which can get very busy.
Yeah,
All right. Thank you,
definitely.
Dave. I really appreciate it. Let's see if everybody can give this a shot. That's it for this week's show. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Catch previous episodes on the 19 News Roku channel, on Apple TV, or Amazon Fire. That is our last show for 2025. So we'll see you next year,
Great
everybody.
year.